Welcome to a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma Summer, and this game is Paul versus PanzerGrenadierAngreifen. Haven't seen Angreifen in a while. He's extremely prolific, probably the most prolific KO2 player in the world, I think. I don't know exact numbers, but he's definitely top 5, if not just absolutely the person who has played this game more than anybody else. And PanzerGrenadier's massive amount of experience is going to go up against Paul's extremely good ladder ranks, #1 with 2 separate factions at this time, I think. And extremely close to being #1 with 3, I think, and top 10 with all 4, if memory serves. I think he might be a little lower than top 10 as Ober Commando West this patch, but either way, both of these players are going to be very formidable. They're both Chinese too, I believe, which is the language that they're sort of speaking.
Well done. We have more conscripts at our disposal. Taking fire!
So let's see what they do. Also, if anybody would like to translate their chat, feel free to do so, because I have no idea what they're saying. I'm kind of curious. Combat engineers going south, and we're going to see a pretty aggressive opening here from Paul, going straight for the left side strategic point right here with his conscripts, capturing this while also trying to maintain vision and control of this house. Once decapping that, jumps back inside. As we know, the screen cover wall does not provide cover from the windows right here, so conscripts will win this engagement by a huge margin, especially with another squad on the flank right here. And we always see Paul do this, by the way, on this map. This is a very specific order of operations. He always sends his squads straight for this cutoff right here to apply really strong early pressure with his conscripts.
Supply sector under attack.
Pio's set up in the fuel point right here. Getting that decapped. Combat engineers without cover, but at this range, this engagement basically isn't going to go anywhere. Conscripts are taking control of the cutoff right now, throwing up a green cover sandbag position, grabbing the munitions as well.
Now you can use Molotovs to burn those bastards.
Grenadiers are moving onto their flank here in this green cover, so they reposition slightly. More Grenadiers moving into this engagement. It looks like the engagement will go to Paul, based on what it looks like right now. Molotovs have been researched, so he's going to flush those Grens out of cover. Now will definitely turn the engagement in his favor. MG42 has been fielded. It's 1 extra Pio, 2 Grens, MG42 into a 3rd Gren, so kind of an interesting opening. Pretty standard, except for that it's an extra Pio rather than 3 Grens. Which on this map could probably make sense. I'm guessing he's going to go either with a flamethrower, minesweeper, or maybe even double flamethrowers at some point, but he's clearly having trouble getting munitions together, those upgrades. Now that he's got 60, I'm curious to see what his first 60 munitions will go to. Flamethrower if he wants to be a little more aggressive, maybe medic bunker. Paul will spend his first 60 on a flamethrower, getting the fuel here in the south back under his control after chasing away what was down here.
We have now installed a field hospital at headquarters.
He has very strong early fuel control, getting these 2 fuel points captured simultaneously, and very strong munitions control, largely ignoring the victory points for now. So Angreifen will have a pretty solid victory point lead here at the beginning, which is pretty typical for Paul. He always seems to operate on about 100 VP deficit, prioritizing the fuel and munitions points over everything else.
Combat engineers are standing by.
I cast Paul just I think yesterday or 2 days ago. He did the exact same thing. And over the course of the game, he kind of works to get those victory points back and tries to capitalize on that super early resource advantage. S-mine field going here on Paul's cutoff.
We have an isolated sector.
It's just a quarter of an S-mine field, very cheap. Might get some value out of that. Molotov getting tossed into the infantry in this green cover position. Angreifen will reposition out of it, takes only very minor damage. Conscripts will retreat back to base after taking quite a bit of damage. The cutoff has been resecured by the Oster. Grenadiers are going to get that fuel point under control. Conscripts hold up inside of this building, proving annoying for Angreifen to deal with. Grenadiers set up in some green cover to the south.
Okay, that's the last one.
Flamethrower squad here.
Enemy troops. This territory is the sector is at risk.
Flamethrower versus Pyos. The flamethrower is quite wounded. Could be a close engagement. They need to spread out though. Oh, or not. Ooh! Not sure if Paul was monitoring that engagement or not. They kind of died quickly.
Sector is ours.
Wasn't expecting it to so drastically turn in Angreifen's favor right there. Neither was Paul, clearly. Loses the full squad.
Engineer standing by.
Minesweeper will clean up the S-mines here in the south. Pyos will be forced away. No upgrades on either of these Pyo squads. Went with 2 Pyo opening, but he spent his first 60 munitions on S-mines. One there, one there. Possibly some others, I don't know.
Germany now holds the victory.
And the medic bunker right here. So all of his munitions have gone into medic bunker and S-mine fields. No infantry upgrades yet. Interesting. Shock rifle has been chosen by Paul. I was expecting guard motor, but I guess he likes shock rifle better on this map. First squad of shock troop will be fielded now, and he replaces his lost combat engineer squad right there as well. Angreifen has assault support, mechanized assault, and elite troops available to him, and no selection has been made yet, but there's no real hurry. He can't even get the Opal Blitz yet. 6 command points he'll have to choose if he wants Stuggies. And then if he hasn't chosen anything by 15, he'll probably go Tiger Ace.
We are ready to roast the bastards.
We are bleeding, comrade. Engineers taking losses. Shock troops can now be used to crush the enemy. Take cover.
Ooh, that was close. Molotovs being tossed, grenades and counter grenades, and that squad does get wiped. Well placed rifle grenade. They couldn't retreat away in time. PanzerGrenadier Angreifen loses 120 manpower worth of grenadiers in exchange for 240 manpower worth of conscripts right there. So pretty good engagement for him. Cutoff has been taken by Paul again, and he jumps into this building again. Shock troops toss a smoke grenade in front of the machine gun, and it looks like Angreifen will have to make a full retreat through shock troops. That's an already heavily wounded squad of grenadiers, but I think they'll get away since shock troops kind of struggle to chase retreating stuff, because they're not really a very good medium range squad. And as soon as they get to a pretty safe distance, they can't secure the wipe, so grenadiers will make it to safety. Scout cars on the field just harass those shock troops a little bit if possible. Another engagement happening here by the truck as well. These conscripts are retreating a little late. Paul is watching the engagement. He wanted to throw a Molotov, but he wasn't able to get it off in time, and takes a lot of manpower bleed. Those shock troops similarly taking a bit of bleed. Autocannon upgrade on the scout car, but it's not going to chase those cons, rather just continues to fight in these shocks. It's taking a little bit of damage from those shock troops at this range, so it needs to kite a little bit, but eventually Paul will be forced to completely retreat, and Pyos are going to start working on the cutoff here again. Might throw down another S-mine field. Paul's replaced his flamethrower. He also still has his minesweeper available, so may or may not choose to throw down another S-mine field right now. With Paul's minesweeper still on the field and probably about to make its way back to this area, S-mines would be unlikely to have any real impact. Mortar in production now. Interesting choice. Paul has a gun tier 2, so I could see that thing being useful eventually, especially once Paul starts making field guns. And if it can get any lucky hits on Paul's infantry, that would be a nice bonus. Have to be careful with it though, with shock troops on the field. Pyro's grabbing the south fuel. Flamethrowers move to retake the cutoff. Grenadiers grabbing the munitions. North munitions also being taken. Angreifen has pretty strong map control at this point. Paul is about 150 points behind right now. Really struggling. He's had a rough opening because of that early flamethrower wipe. Early conscript wipe. I don't think Angreifen has lost a single squad yet. No, he hasn't. It's a pretty rough opening for Paul, who has lost one conscript, one flamethrower. Nothing else. Nothing too catastrophic. And the model losses, I think, are pretty even. I don't know. These are kind of weird. I don't know how Paul has 22 kills, but Angreifen has 37 units lost. Flame crits, I guess, because flame crits don't count as kills for some reason. And team weapon members that retreat off the map. So yeah, it looks like things are pretty even.
Ambush camouflage now available.
The enemy is engaging us!
Conscripts going for the cutoff again, and the fuel points being harassed by the Minesweeper squad. Shock troops working on the south area. Should be able to force retreats from everything Angreifen has in this area, plus the scout car has been forced back to the base for repairs. AT grenade connecting with that.
Enemy
Moves
forces
us off
are
the field for
securing
some
our
time.
territory.
Mortar makes its way back to the front line. I don't think it's fired a single shot yet. It was forced away immediately by that Molotov earlier. Fortunately, no
The
crits,
sector has
so
been
no
cut
manpower
off.
bleed, but it hasn't really had much of an impact yet. It should be able to shut down this behavior, of course. Paul won't be able to camp in green cover out right outside of Angreifen's base with that mortar firing away.
We are losing supplies to the enemy. This territory is ours.
There are no cowards here! We have found the enemy!
Paul now 200 points behind. AT grenade from that squad of conscripts. This one Urang to try and catch up and finish the job. Mortars off target. Small arms fire might actually finish it. They won't be able to get in range for an AT grenade. Focus fire won't do it either. It's just bleeding manpower in this red cover road in front of all these grins. Has to retreat. So another 30 munitions wasted. Another failure to destroy that thing. Angreifen baiting really hard with that. It's only got 3 kills, but it's probably responsible for a lot more than that. Every time those conscripts chase it through red cover. That happens. A bunch of conscripts die and then do some sort of weird floaty dance. Grenadiers screening scout cars retreat. So even when the scout car is not getting kills, it's contributing by baiting.
PanzerGrenadiers standing by.
Shock troops jumping into close range on those grens. Forces that retreat. He'll probably force this one quite soon. Grenadiers trying to just play ring around the rosy right now. If he can kite those shocks around with these. Jesus Christ! Oh, that one was so loud. Oh my God, that is the loudest one yet. I just fucking shit myself. Fuck me. Okay. Shock troops jumping in. All those grenadiers. That one was so loud. That was crazy how loud that one was. 3 squads of conscripts chase away that minesweeper right
The
there.
enemy is taking what we have secured.
What is it?
Looks like Paul will get full control of the south back, and the scout car has been fully repaired.
Red army is attacking.
Conscripts grabbing the munitions, victory point, strategic point.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
And he shoots as bad as he smells.
Oh man. Tripwire flare right there from Paul will secure him vision for his shock troops around the hedge. Maybe he can land a grenade. Oh, he will perfectly spot and time this. Nice use of the flare in conjunction with those shock troops to just jump on that machine gun crew. Very nice use of the flare right there. Grenade into the retreat path. They don't even bother retreating though. Paul's gonna go for the steal. If he had tossed smoke on that, it would be guaranteed. He's gonna maybe get away. Oh, it's so close. With that thing having a damaged engine, it cannot chase. Nice pickup by Paul. Beautiful play right there. Beautiful use of the flare. I don't think I've ever seen the flare utilized so well and and then capitalized on immediately with the vision that provides.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
That was pretty good. Conscripts jumping in to grab the victory point up there, and Flamethrower's going to take control of the munitions point. These 2 conscripts are making their way towards the south, and there's a field gun from Paul.
Ready as we can be. Enemy forces are
So scout car
neutralizing
cannot
the sector.
reveal itself here in the south until that gets pushed away by something else. Maxim on the field, or no, the stolen MG42. This will be a really nice tool for Paul now that he has this, and having taken that away from his opponent. It'll be nice to have. Angreifen fields himself a fresh one. Doesn't want to be without his machine gun, but he will be forced to deal with the fact that Paul has one now. Flamethrower gets pushed away here by the scout car. Nice use of the scout car on targets that it can fight effectively without having to worry about taking any damage in return. Hunting flamethrowers and shock troops is pretty much the best thing that it can do, because it doesn't require that much micro. You know, 1v1 situation when you have a lot of things to micro all over the map, it's best to just go park that scout car next to the flamethrower so you can go worry about other things. If you're trying to kite conscripts to death with the scout car, it requires your full attention, so you can just not pay any attention to the engagement if you're up against a flamethrower. If you're against shock troops, you don't really have to pay attention to the engagement. You just have to watch its health bar and make sure it's not falling too low close range. Whoa, what happened right there? Was that parked on a teller mine? Oh no, mortar. Mortar. Ooh, huge hit from the AT gun. Wow, and it will be destroyed by the MG42, I think. Something killed it. I guess the MG42 killed it. Shock troops moving in on that AT gun. Oh, it's so exposed. Where's the MG42? It's way up here. Shock troops will be able to push those team weapons away easily, but they can't seem to get quite in range to kill anything. Angreifen reacting just in time. Field gun's gonna grab the munitions while these minesweepers get the victory point. And up here on the VP, it looks like PanzerGrenadiers are losing.
It's ready to use. You guys, listen to me if you want to live. The enemy is taking our territory.
Flammenwerfer!
What do you need?
Conscripts.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
And there goes that flame. There goes the flamethrower conscript squad.
This sector is secure. Red point 778604 is taken.
This Grenblob is getting scarier and scarier. Now they have a flamethrower too. That's gonna be 2 wipes, I think. Oh, so close. Is that really gonna get away? Apparently so. There's the IS-2 from Paul, forcing his mass retreat. Angreifen, who still has not chosen his commander, by the way.
sector.
Shock troops taking control of this victory point. And conscripts grabbing that, and with the IS-2 on the field, Angreifen just fully everything all the way back to base, and he's gone tier 3 into a Panzer IV, which with an IS-2 already on the field seems like a kind of a risky move. I mean, the Panzer IV is not useless against the IS-2. But I mean that I don't think I even have to finish that sentence or that thought. Panzer IV is not useless against the IS-2. But I mean, can only accomplish so much, and for good reason he's queuing up a second AT gun.
The peg gun is ready. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Of course, on Kholodny Ferma, that Panzer IV has a lot of room to maneuver and try and avoid the IS-2 and just work on. Basically use it very similarly to the scout car, just try and kite conscripts, go in hard on shock troops and flamethrowers, try to avoid scary things like IS-2s and AT guns as much as possible, and trying to utilize that medium tank's superior mobility. Manage the threat of the IS-2 until Paul makes a mistake of some kind. Antilles, you really overuse the word literally. It doesn't really add any emphasis to your statements if you say it all the time. Then there's nothing special about anything being literally true if everything you say is literally. Just saying. Not to mention, you use the word incorrectly, like literally a lot.
We are losing a sector. The territory is out of contact.
Man, not a good engagement for the IS-2 right there. Panzerfaust on the rear, armor plus 2 hits from those AT guns. There's a KV-8 from Paul. Interesting to go IS-2 back down to KV-8. Apparently he thought that would be worthwhile. He's probably right. Look at that. Squad gets wiped. Now it has to retreat immediately. Meanwhile, here in the north, Pios came close to getting wiped, but did not retreat. Survive an engagement against those conscripts. Narrowly. Conscripts will be forced to retreat. Getting pretty lethal here for Angreifen, who just walked his AT guns right into shock troops. Oh no. That was way over aggressive right there. Way over aggressive. Greifen's decision to go tier 3 and still having no commander selection pretty much means guaranteed to go elite troops this game, by the way. And there is going to be a tiger race at some point. It looks like that point is going to be after the loss of 2 AT guns and a Panzer IV though, which means I doubt that it's going to save the game for him.
We have lost a peg gun.
I think we might actually see a KV-8 kill a Panzer IV with the little pea shooter gun. Oh no, 2 shots just bounce. He's trying. Right now he's just trying to get that AT gun into position to finish the job. He actually just switched back to the flamethrower. AT gun's moving to get a shot off, has to rotate a little bit. I don't know, needs one more shot. There's the smoke, rotates again. One more. There. Main gun destroyed. Needs one more. He switched to the pea shooter again and back to the flamethrower. He was like, God damn it. Just die. Panzer IV had no support of any kind anywhere. Angreifen has chosen elite troops, and that Tiger Ace is on its way. 100 more manpower and that'll hit the field. Ooh. Angreifen has lost almost everything. Here comes the Tiger Ace. It's a terrible situation to call a Tiger Ace in with basically nothing remaining. I don't think this is going to be able to win in this game. He's going to have to just kill everything. That's a good start. One shot's the church. I don't think the church was even damaged. It just like killed it instantly. It's kind of unusual. That was weird. Wow. 4 kills in that shot. They were capping the point rather than just standing in a circle, so they were pretty clumped right there. I'm not sure the squad's gonna get away. Uses Blitz to seal the deal, and there they go. 12 kills in the very first series of engagements. It's only been on the field for about 30-40 seconds. Off to a pretty good start. Paul's mobilizing forces to try and manage the threat a little better. He doesn't really have any mines down anywhere that I've seen, which would obviously help punish its overly aggressive movements. He's going to go in with the KV-8 and IS-2 and a T-gun. I don't know if this is enough to take it. If he switches on to the P-shooter and gets some lucky penetrations, maybe throws a target weak point on it, might be able to... Nope. Engagement's pretty much already lost after that. 2 big hits from the Ace on his IS-2. Shock. Running in at close range with those conscripts is pretty dangerous. Especially if he bunches them up like that. Changes his mind, heads north. Again, Angreifen has basically no other units. He's only got these 5 squads, and with his income now completely hamstringed, that's pretty much all he's gonna have for the rest of the game, which will struggle to compete with shock troops, certainly. Every model he loses is gonna be devastating. That might even be a wipe if Paul's paying attention, which he is. There they go. Meanwhile, his mortar also getting wiped. Jeez, he cannot afford to be hemorrhaging manpower like this with an ace on the field without trading massively in exchange. Abandoned. I don't think he can recover that. Yeah, he's just going to destroy it. There it goes. KV-8's going to trade, though, taking out that AT gun. That's a pretty good trade, honestly. AT guns are super expensive, and he does not have the manpower to be replacing those. Should try to be careful with that conscript squad, though.
The enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
Oh, he needs this engine damage.
Our lines of supply are disrupted.
Nope. Jeez. Almost one-shots that squad. They lose their flamethrower. How many kills does it have already? 28 kills, including an IS-2. Paul really struggling to deal with this thing. It's barely taking any damage, but he's doing an excellent job of taking out all of its support, which is all you really need to do. Because Angreifen just can't replace any of his lost stuff. Paul can replace a lost shock troop squad. That's not really the end of the world. It's bad. He doesn't want this to be happening, but his manpower income, proportional to his pop cap, is way better. And he can keep fielding IS-2s as well. He's got 2 AT guns with which to prevent catastrophic damage to himself.
We have a fresh grenadier squad.
But it does wipe those shocks and is pulling back 35 kills now. Jeez. He still hasn't had the impact. That's how far behind Angreifen was, though. He still hasn't had the impact he needs to have with this thing to not lose. He's still losing. He's only got 4 squads plus the Tiger Ace, and his income is terrible. Paul lost all his shocks, but he still has a pretty strong infantry-based army plus the 2 AT guns, and he's gonna have another IS-2 soon. And once he does, as long as he properly supports it with these AT guns, it probably won't go down quite so easily. And if he ever damages the engine of that Tiger Ace, it's probably pretty much GG. Nice volley from those AT guns right there. That's so much damage to have to repair on an army with only one squad of Pyos that can't afford to replace them. Conscripts grabbing the victory point here in the south. AT guns moving to support the KV-8 here in the center. Paul's actually pulled back ahead for VPs. 50 points ahead, grabbing victory point control now. Things have been pretty much even though. It's not getting that urgent for either player. The much more urgent situation is the resource situation in this game because of, I mean, the ace pretty much forces that. As soon as you field this thing, you either win or you lose. As silly as that sounds.
Double your efforts. We are down to 200 points.
Couple squads engage each other in retreat. Battle lines do not shift. Tiger Ace receiving some repairs here in the north. You might consider squeezing out one more Panzer IV. Could be helpful. Against this sheer quantity of AT, I guess that would actually not make sense though. Trying to win the infantry game is going to be kind of hard with that KV-8 still on the field. That should probably be his Tiger Ace's next big target. Next priority target. Try and kill that thing before the IS-2 shows up. Paul's decision to go with a new field gun is going to cut into his manpower pretty hard. It's going to delay his IS-2 by a while, but clearly his last IS-2 didn't do great against the Ace, so he's just going to go big time into anti-tank for now. Demo charge on the VP. Also threw down a defensive mine right there and right there. Should maybe not put his AT guns on top of his own mines though, that's just asking for trouble. KV-8 chases away Grenz in the south, and Paul is now playing the victory point game very much. Trying to convince that Tiger Ace to hit these mines, but he's gonna have to pull back really far to succeed in that endeavor. KV-8 chases away those Grenz, and they also hit a mine, bringing them pretty low. He might get the wipe here. Every wipe is extremely valuable with an ace on the field. Takes 2 full minutes practically just to replace one Grenadier squad, and they will go down. And in exchange, Paul loses nothing, I don't think. Here in the north, stolen MG-42s, struggling with some Minesweeper Pyos. I'm not really sure who wins that engagement. Two Pyo squads should win, I think. There's the IS-2 finally. Tiger Ace is just hiding behind this building. If your Tiger Ace is not engaging constantly, by the way, it's costing you a ton of resources for basically no gain. What was that? Ooh, nice demo charge right there. Very nice pickup. Anti-tank gun tries to capture the point, and the loss of that full squad is, again, extraordinarily costly. Tiger Ace is going to look for an opportunity against these massed AT guns. I don't know if this is a good idea. The mine has been detonated. There's still another one right there. No other defensive mines on the flank, and Paul's AT gun blob is too clustered. Oh no. Rotate. Do something, Paul. Spread out or something. Oh my god, this is a disaster. I don't think he could have done that engagement any worse. All of his AT guns just got killed. And that IS-2 will lose this fight. Conscripts are moving up to try and damage the engine. The silver lining here is that he has a huge victory point lead right now. Only 50 points left for Angreifen, who's trying to slow things down here in the south. He has lost the engagement for the north. I actually don't know how this game's going to end now. Two squads just got wiped trying to crew these AT guns. I think Paul's getting flustered. He just lost 2 more full squads desperately trying to crew these guns. Now he only has basically nothing left. Conscripts, flamethrower, Maxim, and then his 2 tanks. That's not very much. The IS-2 actually has a pretty big health advantage over the Ace, though. If the Ace tries and slug it out against the IS-2, I'm not sure which one will win. Target weak point to shock it. The Ace looks like it's pulling ahead. I don't know, I can't tell. Both shots bounced right there. Paul's disengaging. Trying to get control of this gun again. IS-2's moving to re-engage. Field gun slowly rotating. Conscript's going for the AT grenade. Field gun shot penetrates. Oh, could go down. Crew shocked. I think that Ace is dead. Meanwhile, a KV-8 in the base is going to kill this mortar plus probably, I think, a base structure. Whatever else was in here. Angreifen continues to try and slow victory point situation with the Minesweeper in the north, but with his Tiger Ace destroyed and all of his units killed, it looks like Paul is retaking control of the game because he still has the KV-8 and IS-2 on the field.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
And as soon as Paul gets victory point control back, he will take the game. For a second, that Tiger Ace, how many kills did it have? I should have checked its kill counter at the very end of that.
Our HQ is under attack.
That Panzer IV is not even going to complete. KV-8's wrecking that structure way too quick. Oh, unless it switches targets. Those Grenadiers baiting the KV-8 into not destroying the Tier 3 structure.
Losing a sector.
He's gonna... Oh no, that maneuver they just did cost him that Panzer IV. It doesn't matter though, I don't think. This game is pretty much over. Nice management of the Ace by Paul. He finally managed to take it out. It cost him probably a lot more than the 800 manpower that Ace... I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that Ace... whose economy that Ace drained harder. That was on a razor's edge this game, but Paul emerges the victor, if only narrowly, again, thanks to better victory point control towards the end of the game. So good game. Allies win.